Hello students, welcome back to the course of heat and mass transfer. In last class we were studying radiation heat transfer in two surface enclosures, and we have made a network diagram in that, and we have find out total heat transfer between two surfaces. In this class we are going to study radiation heat transfer in three surface enclosures. So most of the things will be same, only the perspective will change. So as you can see here in the above diagram, we are having three surfaces: surface 1, surface 2 and surface 3, and all these surfaces makes an enclosure, right? So surface 1 is having emissivity as epsilon 1, area A1 and temperature T1. So now we have to make a network diagram between these three surfaces. So we are going to start as usual what we have done to find out radiation heat transfer between two surfaces. So what we are going to do, first we are going to make network between 1 and 2, right? Then we are going to make network between 1 and 3, and then we are going to make network between 2 and 3. So as you can see in above diagram, okay, so between 1 and 2, this will be the network diagram. Okay, so it is exactly same as we have already done to find out radiation heat transfer between two surfaces, right? So as you can see here, it is EB1, then afterwards we will have surface resistance associated with surface 1, then we have radiosity J1, then we will have space resistance between 1 and 2, right? R12 and will be equal to 1 divided by A1 into F12. What is F12? View factor between 1 and 2. Then we will have J2 as radiosity of the surface 2. Then we have surface resistance of surface 2. Then EB2, right? So in the same manner, we are going to make network diagram between 1 and 3 and 2 and 3 also, right? So as you can see here in this above diagram, so between 1 and 3, as you can see, if you look closely, between 1 and 3, as you can see between 1 and 3, this network between 1 and 3 is exactly similar to the network between the two surfaces, right? So we are having first surface as surface 1 and another surface as surface 3, right? So as usual we have first EB1, then we have surface resistance, then we have space resistance here, right? So what we are doing, we are coming from EB1, we are crossing surface resistance, and then we are moving downward, right? Because down only we have surface 3. Okay, so then we have space resistance, and in this space resistance we are going to take area for surface 1 and view factor of surface 1 to 3. Okay, then it will be equal to 1 divided by A1 into F13. We can also take 1 divided by A2 into F31, right? Because we know that both are equal. A1 F13 will be equal to A3 F23, sorry, A3 F31, right? So as we proceed, this is space resistance. Afterwards we will get to J3, that is radiosity of surface 3, right? Then R3 equal to 1 minus epsilon 3 divided by A3 into epsilon 3, means it is space resistance of, sorry, surface resistance of surface 3. Then we will find EB3. In the same manner, we are going to find network diagram between surface 3 and surface 2. Okay. in that manner we can make radiation heat transfer network between three surface enclosures, right? In case if you have four surface enclosures, they are going to proceed same, right? What will happen in four surfaces? As most of the you might know by now that when we will have four surfaces, we will have diagram like this. Means we will have sorry. So in the case of four surfaces, what we'll have? We will have this square. As you can see, in this case we have this equilateral triangle. In the if we have four surfaces, we will have a square, right? In all these squares, in all the sides, we will have space resistance, right? So as from here we will be having one surface. After surface resistance, suppose it is 1. From here we will have another surface, suppose it is 2, right? And this is surface resistance of surface 2, this is surface resistance of surface 1. Same way we will have on these corners. So all these four are surface resistance. To find out space resistance, it will be here. So as you know, as you get to know, it is very easy to make network diagram. Any number of surfaces you will have, but what will happen, the more surfaces you have, calculation will be tougher, right? So what will happen in this case, if we have four surfaces, we will have four equations. In previous case, like here, we have three surfaces, we have three equations. So if we have three equations, we can find out maximum number of three unknowns, right? If we have four equations, we have to find out maximum number of four equations, right? So it will be very tough to solve four equations, right? So in the exam you will not get, definitely you will not get a surface or a network having more than three surfaces, because it will be very difficult to find out four unknowns if we have four surfaces, right? In that case we have to use some matrix method or MATLAB or some other software tool, right? So now we are going to solve this three surface network, and how we are going to solve it? In the same manner the way we solved two surface network, right? So what we are going to do, things will be little different here. So you have to pick these points J1, J2 and J3, right? And associated with J1 you have to find out one equation, then associated with J2 you have to find another equation, and associated with J3 you have to find another equation. So in that manner you will have three equations, and you can find out maximum number of three unknowns with the help of three equations. So how you will find out equation for J1? So what we are going to do, we are going to write the equation of radiation heat transfer between EB1 and J1, right? Then you are going to write heat transfer equation between J1 and J2, and then you are going to write heat transfer equation between J1 and J3. So what will be heat transfer equation between EB1 and J1? Suppose Q1 heat is getting transferred from EB1 to J1, then what is the value of Q1? So value of Q1 will be equal to, as we know it is transferring from EB1 to J1, so we have to do EB1 minus J1, right, divided by the resistance R1, right? So because J1 is a point, so whatever heat is coming from EB1 won't be staying back at J1, right? Because it is a point, it cannot absorb any heat. So that Q1 will be transferred to J2 and J3, right? So whatever heat is getting transferred to J2 will be equal to Q12, right? Whatever heat is getting transferred will be equal to Q13, right? So this Q1 should be equal to Q12 plus Q13, right? And what is the value of Q1, Q12 and Q13? That we can find out easily, right? So what is the value of Q12? So as you can see from this diagram, between J1 and J2, Q12 we can find out because it is flowing from J1 to J2. So this Q12 will be equal to J1 minus J2 divided by R12, this one. Okay. In the same manner, we can find out Q13 also, right? So when we will arrange this big equation, EB1 minus J1 divided by R1 equal to J1 minus J2 divided by R12 plus J1 minus J3 divided by R13. Then afterwards, when we will rearrange this equation, we can find out this equation. How we are going to rearrange? We will just move J1 minus J2 divided by R1 R2 from RHS to LHS. Okay. And same way Q13 we will move from RHS to LHS, right? In that manner we can find out this equation should be equal to 0. In the same manner we can, so this equation we found out for J1, for this point. Now for this point and this point we need to find out network equation, right? For this point, sorry, actually this first one is network between, sorry, correct, it is correct. So now we have to find out equation between okay. So in this case, this is for, from here we can find out, this is for J2, right? And this equation is for J3. In the same manner, the way we found out this equation, in the same manner we are going to find out this equation and this equation. That I will leave to students to solve, because it is nothing but simple algebraic solution, right? In that manner you will find three equations, one for J1, other for J2, other for J3, and from these three equations we can find out three unknowns. Suppose we have not been given temperature of surface Q1, right? So we can find out EB1, and from the EB1 we can apply Stephen Boltzmann law, like EB1 is equal to sigma into T to the power 4, T1 to the power 4, and then we will solve all these three equations. We can find out temperature of one surface, right? In that manner we are going to solve this question. Now let us see one numerical. This numerical is actually very easy, but through this numerical you are going to learn how to make network diagram between three surfaces, right? So read out the question. A furnace is shaped like a long equilateral triangular duct. So suppose this is a furnace, right? And this furnace is made up of a long equilateral triangular duct. Means all these surfaces 1, 2 and 3 are type of rectangular duct, right? So surface 2 is coming out, right? Coming out of your screen. And surface 3 and surface 1 same way, it is coming out of your screen, and it is a rectangular surface. 2 is rectangular surface, 3 is rectangular surface, and 1 is rectangular surface, and combining all three we have made one furnace, right? The width of each side is 1 meter, right? Width of each side means it is perpendicular to the screen. The base surface has an emissivity of 0.7. So base surface means surface 1 has emissivity of 0.7 and is maintained at a uniform temperature of 600 Kelvin. The heated left side surface closely approximates a black body at 1000 Kelvin. So surface 2 is exactly it's similar to black body. So in the black body they are not going to give epsilon. Why? Because for a black body epsilon is equal to 1, that we already know, and we have to maintain this temperature of this surface at 1000 Kelvin. The right side surface is well insulated. Okay, so here we got the third surface that is well insulated means totally insulated. And what is the meaning of insulation? No heat can transfer through this surface. So neither this surface can absorb any heat and nor it can transfer any heat. At most what it can do, it can reflect any heat. Only reflection is possible. Right. So determine the rate at which heat must be supplied to the heated side. So what is heated side? The left side, this one. The black body is heated side. Suppose we are having burner here and they are constantly burning, constantly providing heat to the surface too. So determine the rate at which heat must be supplied to the heated side externally per unit length. Per unit length means length of this also we can assume as 1 unit. Length of each side we can assume as 1 unit. In order to maintain these operating conditions means, but whenever you will see maintain these operating conditions, so it simply imply that we have to maintain steady state condition. What is the meaning of a steady state condition? Temperature should not increase of any surface. Right? Suppose temperature of surface 2 is 1000 Kelvin, then it should remain 1000 Kelvin, and temperature of surface 1 is 600 Kelvin, it should remain 600 Kelvin. Whatever amount of heat you will provide, its temperature should be always constant. That is the meaning of a steady state, and that is the meaning of maintain these operating conditions. Now let us solve it. First we have to make network diagram, and the easiest part is insulation, right? Because through the insulation there is no heat is getting transferred. So in place of insulation we will have only a point, right? Right. So we will not have any associated surface resistance for the surface 3, right? So it is the same manner like suppose we are having this wire and at this point we have voltage 1, at this end we have voltage 2. If V1 and V2 are equal, there won't be any heat transfer in this wire, right? In the same manner for the insulated surface, suppose it is the insulated surface here 3, here you have some resistance and here you have J3, right? So what happens in insulation surface? J3 will be equal to capital EB3, right? So whatever radiation is getting reflected is the only radiation that is getting emitted, right? Okay, so there won't be any change in heat, it won't allow any heat to get absorbed or transferred, right? So that's why J3 will be equal to EB3. If J3 and EB3 are equal, then there won't be any heat transfer between J3 and EB3. So there won't be any meaning of this resistance R3. So we can easily exclude R3, that is surface resistance. We are not going to include this R3 in our network diagram. Same way for black body, there won't be any surface resistance for black body. Why? So it will, this I will leave for students to think why there won't be any surface resistance for black body. If you have any problem, you can ask me through Google Classroom or WhatsApp. But if you study previous lectures again, then you will know why there will not be any surface resistance for black body. So you have to revise, you must revise. Okay, now let us come back to the question again and we will start making network diagram. So how to make network diagram for this enclosure? So first we will start with surface 1. Okay, suppose some heat is getting transferred from EB1 to J1. Right? What is J1? Radiosity of surface 1. And what is EB1? Emissive power of surface 1. And what is R1? Surface resistance of surface 1. Right? So as usual, how we started, here we have surface 1, and from surface 1 first we will see surface resistance R1, then we will have J1, that is the radiosity of surface 1. Okay, so now we will move toward surface 2. Right, so we already know in this case surface 3 is insulated surface. Right, so there will be space resistance between surface 1 and surface 2, that we are going to draw like this. Okay, R12. So what is R12? Space resistance between 1 and 3, and its value will be equal to 1 divided by A1 into F12. Right, and then as usual we will have J2. What is J2? Radiosity of surface 2. Okay, and as I told you already, for the surface 2, that is black body, it will not have surface resistance. Right, and that I told you, you have to find out yourself, and you have to revise previous lecture why it is not having surface resistance. For insulation for body 3, I already told you it will not have surface resistance. Okay, and I already explained it. Now to find out space resistance between surface 1 and surface 3, okay, and surface 2 and surface 3. Right, so why we are finding out space resistance? Because as obviously we can see here, there is a space between 2 and 3, and there is a space between 1 and 3. Right, so there will be some heat transferred from 1 to 3 that is getting reflected, right, and going back to the surface 2, and same way some heat is getting transferred from 2 to 3, getting reflected and going back to the surface 1. Right, so there will be space resistance, as you can see here. So space resistance between surface 1 and surface 3 will be equal to R13. Okay, so as you can see here, so this diagram which I pointed out, it is somewhat similar to the network between two surfaces. What are those two surfaces? 1 and 3. In the case of 3, we will not have surface resistance, that's why we didn't include that surface resistance. We have only included space resistance, and that is equal to R13. Okay, same way we are going to find out space resistance between surface 3 and surface 2. Right, correct. So how we are going to find out the space resistance between 3 and 2? So for 2 we don't have any surface resistance because it is a black body, and for 3 we will not have any surface resistance because it is insulated. So between 2 and 3 we will have only space resistance, that is equal to R23, and what is the value of R23? 1 divided by A2, surface area of 2, into view factor of from 2 to 3. Right, 1 divided by A2 into F2. Okay, so now that's how we are going to complete our network. Now we are going to solve this network in the same manner the way we are solving in electrical, like the way we are solving a current system, a system which are having current and voltage and resistance. Right, we are going to have the same method to find out final resistance between 1 and 2. Right, as you can see here, R13 and R23, they both are in series, so we are going to just add them, R13 plus R23. Okay, then you can see R13 plus R23 and R12 are in parallel. Then the same manner we are going to find out the total resistance. Okay, that I am going to explain in next slide. The total thermal resistance will be R1 plus R1 is this one, plus 1 by R12. What is 1 by R12? This one, plus 1 by R13 plus R2. Okay. And whole thing we will have this minus 1 here. Why? Because R1 plus 1 by this whole equation. Right. So once we are done with total thermal resistance, in the same manner the way we are doing for electrical, we can find out heat transfer between 1 and 2. So it is heat transfer from 1 to 2. Q1 2. Okay, whatever heat is getting started from 1 to 2, we can find out from this equation. Right. So how we are going to find out EB1 minus EB2 divided by total resistance between them, and then we are going to solve it. So first we are going to put the value of R1. What is the value of R1? 1 minus epsilon 1 divided by A1 epsilon 1. What is this? It is nothing but a surface resistance associated with surface 1. And in the same manner we are going to find out other resistance. Right. A1 F12 is nothing but 1 by R12 in the same manner. Right. In this case we have A1 is equal to A2 is equal to A3, and what is A1 is area of the rectangular surface. Okay, and that will be equal to W into L, and both are having value as 1 meter. Right. So the area will be 1 meter square, and the view factor will be 0.5. As you know, this enclosure is symmetric enclosure. So surface 1 will be able to see 0.5 part of 2 and 0.5 part of 3. So whatever heat is getting generated from 1, 0.5 of that will go to 2 and 0.5 of that will go to 3. Right. So that's why the view factor will be 0.5. So, and we can find out this view factor 0.5 from the empirical relations that we already know. Right. But because it is symmetric, directly you can find out that view factor between any two surfaces will be equal to 0.5. Right. Because of symmetry. Right. Then we are going to put value in case of EB1 as sigma into T14, in case of EB2 sigma into T24, T2 to the power 4. Right. What is T1 600? What is T2 1000? Right. And finally we are going to solve this equation, and we will find heat transfer between 1 and 2. Right. That will be equal to, that will we will find is 28 kilowatt. Okay. So what we have to do? This 28 kilowatt energy is getting transferred from 1 and 2 or 2 to 1, whatever it is. Okay, and that amount of heat constantly should be transferred from 1 and 2, then only this whole system will remain in steady state. Right. So in the question they are asking the same thing. Determine the rate at which heat must be supplied to the heated site externally per unit length of the duct in order to maintain these operating conditions. So how much is need to be supplied is 28 kilowatt. Then only we can maintain the temperature of all these surfaces to and from. Otherwise we cannot maintain. Right. So that's how we are going to complete this lecture. Now in next lecture we are going to study radiation shields. Okay, thank you.